What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Doomsday Report on Donny Vermilion. So, Brian, let's hear about the mutations. The mutation.
Donny Vermilion, the best map in the game, is where we have to gather 20 xenon crystals and return them to the stabilizer in the middle of our base.
Yeah,
The crystals appear once lava recedes from the low ground. But we need to flee to the high ground while the lava is up. We have 3 mutators. Nukes drop randomly on the map except in our base. Orbital Strikes try to shoot our forces, and Propagators spawn from enemy buildings and try to insta-kill our forces and turn them into more Propagators.
Yeah, so basically we have to avoid or destroy the Propagators before they touch our forces. Another way we can go about it is just by destroying all enemy buildings so that the Propagators will stop spawning. But if you destroy all enemy buildings, you basically won the game anyway. So with me are Tutu and Stickspender. How are you guys today?
Alright. This is the fun mutation.
Alright, yeah.
Air quotes. Air quotes.
Yeah. So, Tutu, how are we gonna rate the commanders this week?
My ratings are based on how well the commander can deal with multiple props, because every commander can deal with like 1 or 2, but when there's like 4 at once, how well can they deal with them? And how well can they go on offense against going nuclear and orbital strikes? And how bonus points to commanders who can take a hit or two while they're going to get crystals, or like if commanders who can get to crystals more easily.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, let's begin. Abathur, where do we put him?
His toxicness are good. If you are very on top of things, you can use Vipers, but I just advise you to use Guardians. One base Guardian play, and then for offense, you just use Brutalists. And because Guardians, you can just have them sit and hit the props as they walk towards your base.
Yeah.
If you expand, I think they're gonna come from like a lot of angles. So I would, because they might hit your main and your natural, and I think that's not a good idea. So you can stay on one base. If you have an ally, then yeah, you can split your forces. But if you don't trust them, then yeah, just stay on one base. So I used P2, which means that I can deep tunnel roaches to support my brutalists on offense, and they can also pick up the biomass in the center. So like the enemies will go to your base. You can use your guardians to pick up those, and then you can use the roaches on the field. And you should research Overlord drop. So you clear the middle, and then you bring Overlords with drones in them to get to the crystals more quickly.
Why not Nidus Worms?
Because if you build a Nidus in the center, the props will go there because they can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So, you recommended going one base, but I think I can speak for most people when I say most people would just have allies who take the expansion. So, for regular use, I don't think you can get a lot of people who would agree to go one base in general.
All right, you can stay on one base while they get run over.
Then you would have a poop train because they will have workers to the expansion.
So the solution to that is that Abathur has toxic nests, which are one of the best anti-propagator weapons that you can get.
True.
They're amazing.
Incredible. So, where do we put him, Tutu?
Oh yeah, I put him in B.
B. Okay, not bad.
All that for B.
All that for B. How the turntables.
No, he was not good. I never said he was like good or bad. He has a lot. He has to work a lot.
That's true. But still, all that for B. Anyway, Sticksbender, how about you?
So the interesting thing is that I had a lot of the same reasoning. Guardians are amazing. Toxic nests are great for dealing with propagators. You can rush around with brutalisks to clear out crystal defenders, and then fly in drones to pick them up because he actually has a transport.
So where do you put him though?
I would use guardians to push into enemy bases, honestly, despite the environmental mutators. But fair enough. Then A tier makes sense to me. B tier feels a little low.
Do you agree with A tier, Tutu?
I mean, if you know how to use Abathur, you don't even farm biomass early on. You just wait till that. Your early game is really bad because you have to like wait for the 6-minute wave before you can get Brutalists.
Yeah,
If you try to farm biomass, like the nukes will just kill your toxic nest.
they will. I guess even though your early game is slow, you won't exactly die because the Propagators will reach your base around 4 minutes ish, the same time as the first wave. I don't think the first wave will be that much of a killer. It's gonna be really slow, but okay. Do we agree on A tier?
Yeah,
All right, let's put him in A tier now. Alarak, where do we put him?
Alarak himself having his yeet for Propagators. Structure overcharge will destroy multiple Propagators headed for what was 2 seconds ago a defenseless building.
True.
Havocs are just great units for +2 range aura, and just having the hero style of like a mothership and Alarak is great for not having to worry about environmental mutators as much, though the mothership is quite fat and does have problems with the nukes. All around B tier, A tier, high B tier, I think. I would probably recommend Wrathwalkers, as doesn't need you to stare at them for them to shoot Propagators.
That's true. All right. So A for, or rather B for Stick Spinner. How about you, Tutsu?
I put Alarak in A because highly recommend using Wrathwalkers because your attention, if you turn away for 1 second, your mothership on the offense might get nuked. So and your destroyers. Offense kind of sucks because not sucks, but like not as good as like it'll be more difficult. The offense is the most difficult part. The prop defense is good. So I put him in A.
Yeah, I think I actually agree with A as well. Like all the things Stick Spender said, I can't hear that and not think A. Yeah, it with Wrathwalkers.
It's not that hard after all this week.
Yeah, with Wrathwalker, it does generally sound easy, even if you don't micro Alarak. Just walk away from the Propagators. The Wrathwalkers, not Wrathstanders. All right, let's put
Indeed
in A. Arcturus, where do we put him?
The middle gets the right ramp and the top ramp get nuked by the going nuclear, so you can't fit as many ESOs as you normally would. And that makes clearing a little more difficult. However, he can drop bunkers directly onto the crystals, so you can get them very easily. His P3 allows him to kill props very easily, and he has Aegis guards to slow them down if they get close. So he can take on multiple props, but like not as good as the S commanders, so I put him in A.
The fact that you just set up ESOs and everything dies, you don't have to Propagators, you ESO them, so you don't have to worry about them even getting vaguely close or your ally messing things up for you and getting a Propagator train. Also, if they do get a Propagator train, that gets killed by ESOs almost as easily as a single Propagator. I would have thought Minx was S tier, but
You think S? Tutu, are you convinced?
it might be a little bit say S, but yeah.
I don't think so. Just if you have an ally, he's gonna take up a lot of your ESO space. If you're solo, yeah, you can definitely fit a lot.
Yeah, so if it's not unanimous, it's not S. So Arcturus, I have to settle for A.
That's fine.
Feel good.
Yeah, still good. It's still really good. RB Farty, where do we put him?
You're probably going to want to go Tempest because Dragoons are fat and Immortals don't do enough damage to Propagators because Propagators aren't armored, sadly.
You think Tempest for this? I guess it might be easier to kind of dodge with Tempest. You can just fly out of the range. I think Tempest.
The other advantage of Tempest is that they are air units, and going nuclear, I don't remember how it works for Orbital Strike, but at least going nuclear, the nukes cannot be centered over unpathable terrain.
That's interesting.
So unpathable terrain is relatively safe.
Yeah. All right. So where do we put him?
Yeah, C seems more reasonable. He's actually quite poor.
Yeah, just the damage up. He can dodge just fine. The issue with him is actually putting out the damage.
The issue with him is that, and then Propagators showed up, and everything was painful and bad and suffering and torment.
Oh yeah, and base defense. Like when your Tempests are out, how do you defend your base?
Yeah, one of his saving graces, like basically, honestly, the only real redeeming factor I can see here is that, hey, at least your probes are really tanky, assuming you don't use P3. I recommend you don't use P3 because that makes them very tanky. Guardian Shell plus shield overcharge. which also is messed up by P3 because now it's target instead of global.
So you think C for Artanis?
Probably.
How about you, Tutu?
I don't think he's that bad, just because I used a Dragoon offense and a Dragoon Tempest defense. So the Tempests were just sitting on the island, and they would shoot all the props that come. And then I have like a force of Dragoons on offense, and yeah. So I think he can hold quite a lot of props, but it requires some micro, especially earlier on. So I've gave him a B.
I would almost kind of agree with that, except well, compared to like the guys who are relatively high, I'm thinking Artanis would have a particularly hard time dealing with, for example, a poop train. When your ally, for example, gets overrun by a Proopagator, and you have like 20 poops hitting your base, does Artanis, aside from maybe Soul Bombardment, have anything that can actually kill a poop?
I am not considering like near-death situations.
Because like Propagators, they're not annoying, but they're very unforgiving mutation. If you mess up once, it could be game over. Especially if you lose, or if your ally loses even an army.
That said,
Yeah.
Solar Bombardment is a pretty effective
Solar
counter.
Bombardment is a pretty effective counter, yeah. If you happen to have it saved up. But are you convinced, Sixbender, to put Artanis in B?
Yeah, Warp Gate's good. Warp Gate's a good trick.
Okay. I was actually thinking of agreeing with you in C, but since both of you say B, I'll put Artanis in B. Dehaka, where do we put him?
I used a combination of creeper hosts, impalers, guardians, and primal worms to defend against props. And then I just used pack leaders and Dehaka on the offense. I put him in A because yeah, if a pack leaders don't get eaten, I think they get ignored.
Yeah, I think they get ignored.
I believe so, yes. I could see S tier. Like the biggest argument against S tier is that he has no really good way of getting drones around the map.
That's true.
You lose everything while you're waiting for your next wave of drones to try to get there, and then also die.
It's fine. If it's not unanimous, either way, if it's not unanimous, it's not S. So we're gonna have to put the Hawk in A. I don't have a problem with A. He's still really good. It's just that I thought the Hawk would be. Anyway, Fenix, where do we put him?
I'm not even sure what Phoenix is exactly supposed to do against Propagators, robo units, I guess.
There was a mutation before where Phoenix actually just massed carriers. You were able to get a critical mass at like 9 carriers. You can actually burst down the Propagator before it actually targets any interceptor. Because they move too fast and they all shoot when they first get released.
And then there are 2 Propagators.
Yep, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I would put him in C or D.
How about you, Tutu?
Phoenix was one of 2 commanders that actually gave me a lot of trouble. And I used Warbringer to defend Warbringer and a ton of Colossi plus Immortals and Tal'Darin.
Nice.
Well, just like the Robo units were sitting on the middle island, and the Gateway units were on the offense.
Interesting. Which prestige is this?
I used P3.
Interesting.
The range, there's a reduction in range, but I used P3 because P1, like you want the suit, like on when you need them, and then P2 doesn't work here because you can't just like use one of each champion. And Caldelis, like he's good, but he's not the main prop killer. So I use P3, and when my army gets nuked in the outside, I get a refund, partial refund.
Yeah. So where do you put him?
But yeah, I put him in D because it's a lot of work.
I also think D. I was even contemplating E, but D is fine for me. I think we're unanimous in D. Is this our first unanimous pick? All right.
So this one, yeah, we have too many A's.
We have too many A's. Anyway, Han Horner, where do we put him?
Han Horner, I think Prestige 3 is good here. You can Strike Fighter everything. However, if the enemy comp is air, then you're gonna need some more, like probably Horner units, like BCs or something, to fight the attack waves. You can like slowly pick off buildings, and then you defend against props with Hellions with the tar bomb, so they slow down.
I was
So they can
thinking,
hold on pretty long.
is it possible to just bank your mag mines and just spam them when the Propagators nearby?
Won't they get eaten by the?
I mean, not when the Propagators is too close, but once you can
Uh,
determine where the poop is heading, just
I,
use your mag mines there.
I wouldn't waste magmines on props when you can use Hellions because
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
just.
So where do
I
you
put them
them?
in C.
All right, solid. How about you, Sixbender?
So I was more thinking along the lines of P1, go full mag mine cooldown reduction and all that, so that now you don't have to worry about air units being any harder than ground waves, because attack waves, widow mines, and crystal defenders, mag mines. Propagators die to Hellions regardless.
Yep.
The biggest difficulty here is don't use F2. Other than that,
That's
you're amazing. You
that's a
don't have
big
to leave your
difficulty,
base. Yes, but
though.
like you're amazing. You don't have to leave your base.
You
You don't
do
risk
need a
anything.
small army just in case like your strike fighters aren't perfect. Because like
Yeah.
if they're walking and you miss a few, you don't want to wait till they get to your base. So you can need a small army while you're
Yeah.
going towards the crystal. You need
Well, it's like
a few things.
it's a good thing battle cruisers, wraiths both have tactical jump.
Usual compromise would be, yeah. Sixbender says A. I say B. We'll meet in the middle. Put Hunter in B. Karax, where do we put him?
Karax has monoliths. Karax has space lasers. Also, observers over unpathable terrain have a very low probability of getting hit by environmental mutators, as I've discovered in the past, and you can really just like assume they won't get hit. That'll
And
actually last.
even if they do, you have Unity Barrier.
Yeah. It's like you can just assume that the observers are going to last a long time, as will probes, also because of Unity Barrier and Repair Beam a little bit, but mostly Unity Barrier. Yeah, he's probably like an A tier. You have a solid defense, you have pretty good offense, except for the bases. There it gets awkward.
Speaking S, but anyway, Tutu, how about you?
The S tier commanders, they can not. They don't need to look at their base, and the props will like are guaranteed to die.
That's Karax, right?
Karax is one of those.
Yeah.
Like if you have enough monoliths with the energizers, stimmed monoliths will just shoot down any props. You have purifier beam for attack waves and or the bases. You have solar lance for attack waves. You have unity barrier if your probe gets nuked. So I like everything is in their favor. You can even use carriers to help clear bases when the props are not around.
Yeah.
So S.
Yeah, are you convinced, Expander? I also say S, by the way, just so you know.
The biggest reason the reason I don't say S for Karax is because pushing bases I feel is going to be annoyingly difficult.
Well, if you think about it, you only need to start pushing bases around like 11 minutes ish, maybe even later. Like you should have something, but if not an observer, at least like a
No, 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 no.
single.
You're serious? Are you seriously planning to just completely use top bar to push through actual solidly built, like solidly spread out bases, like with
The
the hybrid in them and such?
You're not clearing the map. You're just clearing like the top right island, not the far one, the one that has the hybrid.
Hybrid Dominator? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
hybrid
the guy.
dominator one.
Literally, that's the guy I'm afraid of.
You use purifier beam and you spam your orbital strikes on it, or you do it twice.
That's
or
It
you
just
just
takes.
send a probe and build a couple monoliths and cannons. I don't know. You can lose them,
Yeah.
but if that's what it costs to remove the hybrid, then so be it, right? Or you can use carriers also.
Well, carriers against propagators sounds like you're just asking for it's like I have 5 carriers, they're attacking something. A building spawns a propagator under the interceptors, and everything gets out of control.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Well, so immortals then?
Probably,
The
but then you have
shadow cannon.
Yeah, Shadow
Yeah.
Cannon is good.
morals of Shadow Cannon. Now you're exposing things to enemy environmental mutators.
Sticks
That's
Brothers,
my
I'm
thought.
convinced. So if it's not unanimous, it's not S. So there it is. Karax is an A tier. It's still good. It's still pretty good, you know. Kerrigan, where do we put him?
Kerrigan. You have to use P3, otherwise you're gonna have a bad time.
Even if you use P3, you'll still have a bad time.
You still have a bad time.
Yeah.
Less of a bad time.
Yeah.
You're gonna use Hydralisks and lurkers. So your long-term defense will be Hydras and lurkers at the natural. And when you spawn Omega Worms, you should spawn them on the low ground so they get killed by the lava. Because if they stay alive on the high ground, the props will eat them.
Yeah.
So I put her in B.
Interesting.
Maybe C.
I was also thinking like, I'm almost tempted to put Kerrigan the same tier as Fenix, to be honest. But let's hear Sticksbender. Where do you put him?
Yeah, I can see B tier Kerrigan. P2, by the way, works pretty well as well. P3 isn't the only option. Lurkers are a great base defense and can actually deal with propagator trains. Probably at least B. Yeah, she's solid.
Alright, so both of you agree with B. I was thinking B, but yeah, since both of you put her in B, let's put her in B. Nova, where do we put him?
Liberators are great at killing propagators.
Yeah?
Tanks can be put at home to defend and are quite good at dealing with propagators, especially since they have spider mines. If you lose units to propagators, that really sucks because you're a Nova.
Does. Will you lose units though?
You gotta be pretty good with that hero.
Or use P3.
Or that. I would put her in B or C, honestly. I don't think she's
B or
actually
C?
quite that good because I think her. Am I overestimating the difficulties of offense on this mission horrifically here? I don't think so.
I think we don't need. I think you're thinking of full clearing. We don't need the full clear base.
I'm really not thinking of full clearing. I'm just thinking of clearing the bases where the crystals most often spawn. I am not seeing Nova in S tier, but okay.
If Nova's not S tier, who is S tier to you? I'm curious.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Alright, if it's not unanimous, it's not S. So we'll have to put Nova in A tier again. One of these guys will have to go to S tier, I feel like. One of these guys.
Possibly.
Raynor, where do we put him?
Raynor requires a lot of, he can hold for a long time, but his offense has trouble. So you can use tanks, you can use marauders or combination, spider mines. There are many ways to stop the props, but going on the offense is difficult because you have to pay attention to your army and avoid the orbital strikes and nukes. So I put him in C.
Okay. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah, C makes sense. Here we go. We can agree on something.
Yay! Unanimous! I also say C. Statboy, where do we put him?
So Gary kills everything. You know what does happen to be quite annoying?
When Propagators eat their satellites?
You're going to be using super slow Gary. Or P1, but that's a terrible idea. Use slow Gary. Slog around at approximately the speed of molasses and use slow Gary.
That sounds painful, actually.
You have Banelings. Banelings are good units against propagators.
Yes.
You have Lurkers. They don't have 12 range, and that sucks. A C tier because of mediocre propagator dealings.
Okay. Tutu, how about you?
If you are set on using Stetmann for this one, you should watch what I did in my run. I used P2, and I had a very special plan to do this, to not get my satellites eaten. The best defense against is not Banelings, it's Hydralisks, but they still suck. Banelings, you can use them, but if you get to the late game, you're gonna run out of resources.
Interesting.
Stetmann, he can, Gary can, Super Gary can clear everything. You can get stuff there, but if you don't use, if you don't have a good plan, it's gonna be really difficult. So, yeah, you can see what I did. I basically went around the outsides, and then I all the unpathable terrain. I dropped satellites there, and then connected.
So you basically need to memorize. You actually need to memorize the entire map, including terrain.
Pretty much, yes. So if you're using P1, I'll put him in E tier if you're a P1, because at least you're helping your ally. You're not going to do much yourself, but you're helping. If you're using P2, it's F tier.
P2 is F tier. So you used P1.
If you're not if you're playing him normally, you don't know what you're doing. That's going to be detrimental. You're not helping your ally at all. You're going to make things worse.
Yeah.
So that's why I put him in F.
Very
I
dumb.
was here. I was literally just here feeling like, everyone keeps telling me, no, but Gary's so strong. No, but Gary's so strong. But yeah, okay. If Tutu says he's F tier, then yeah, I'll agree.
All right. So Stet Boy is now F tier. There it is. It was actually unanimous. Sticks better changed his opinion, and in my opinion really doesn't matter. I'm just here to convince them to make bad picks. Anyway, Stukov, where do we put him?
Stukov against air, you will need some Diamondbacks, but against ground, you're gonna have a fun time because even if the props multiply, your tanks will just eventually kill them all.
Yeah, that's true.
Offense kind of sucks because you're gonna rely on Diamondbacks, and Diamondbacks don't have that much life. They have enough life, but like you're gonna suffer from losses. And if you're not paying attention, or if orbital strikes hit them one too many times, even just scratch them, they're gonna die. So you're gonna need a lot of them. And he doesn't have a transport, so you're gonna have to just walk normally. So nothing special there.
Also, you basically don't have any top bars, Stukov.
Oh yeah, and the APOC is okay. The Alexander is usable if like right after a props spawn somewhere else. You use it to clear bases.
All right.
So I put him in B because against ground he can hold it forever. He just struggles with offense, but his defense is solid.
The way I don't know. The way Stukov uses siege tanks reminds me more of Raynor's vultures, and the way Stukov has problems on offense also reminds me of how Raynor has problems on offense. I was thinking more of C, but anyway, sticks better. Where do you put him?
Actually, C is fine, I think, in that sense. Yeah.
I was thinking B, but I was also thinking P3.
P3. So you just mass bunkers until you have a critical mass.
Mm-hmm. And then you discover, oh, wait a second, infested marines have more range than regular marines and are still hit scan.
How do you get to the critical mass?
No, the early game you just use one barracks worth of marines. Do you know how many marines a barracks can spit out if you just invest
That's not the problem. When you send them out, they get nuked, and then when they get nuked, your army size just gets reduced suddenly, and you're not pushing at all.
That's a good point.
I have used mass infested against way more environmental mutators than this and had literally no issue. So I would be very surprised if that's a problem.
Well, because they're also sending them to the lava.
There's you're fighting for space in the middle, plus bunkers in the main. They're gonna take a while to get to the farther places.
Yeah.
I tried this. It's not that good.
The thing is, Raynor's top bars are better than Stukov's in this case.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. Put him in C tier.
Alright, there you go. I just wish we were able to convince you on Karax instead of Stukov, but it's fine. A win is a win. Swann, where do we put him?
Swann, I believe is just better than Karax here.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah. I know. A ridiculous concept. But the fact that the laser drill slows a whole bunch is really good. The fact that you can teleport workers around with Hercules is quite good. His turrets have slow with the blaster billies. I know everyone thinks blaster billies are completely useless and forgets that they exist, but they do. You can have tanks on the defense to help your turrets. Your worst downside is that your most likely offense is going to again be floating factories, which means they can get propagated, but it's not like it's an army getting propagated.
It can also get nuked, an orbital strike.
Yeah, but it just kind of shrugs most of that off. I personally was thinking Swann is my S tier, so yeah.
I mean, I like guys getting high don't
take that out of context.
Don't take that out of context. I like it when guys who don't normally perform well are succeeding. But how about you, Titsu? Let's hear it.
For once, Swann has a higher. I think Swann is ranked higher than Karax because before it's always Swann is budget Karax. This time, Swann is better. He's
Better
much
Karax.
better. If there was a tier above S, I would put him there, but S is the highest one, so I put him in S for all the reasons mentioned at first.
We actually agree.
If you guys both say S, then there we go. At least we have an S tier now. All right, there we go.
Several nukes before it takes several nukes.
So you just rush out the repair drone, the fire suppression systems upgrade.
You
So your
always
factories
do that.
will not die.
You literally always should do that. So this
And
is playing normally.
if you have multiple propagators heading toward your factories, can the laser drill take care of that?
It slows in an AoE by like 80%. Those
So-
propagators are going to be outrun by that factory so hard.
All right, so that's enough. That's all I need to know. All right, fine. Swann S tier. Tychus, where do we put him?
For this one, you should use Lone Wolf. If you can't use Lone Wolf, then the grade will go down a bit. Tychus pushes bases. Sirius and Sam defend. So that's pretty much all you need. And then you add Nux for assistance later on.
Okay.
Sam can take on like 4 props by himself because you use the, and they're probably spaced out so that you can you have another charge of this grenade. So yeah, but Tychus doesn't have like an easy way to get SCVs to the crystals. If so, because he's very micro intensive, I put him in B.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
So B.
Yeah,
All right.
that pretty much lines up with what I was kind of thinking on Tychus.
Yeah, there it is. All right, micro intensive but has options. There you go.
Yeah.
Vorazun. Where do we put her?
I'm gonna scare you with the honest fact that your best unit against propagators is the
Dark
melee
Templar.
unit that is the Dark Templar.
I knew
yes,
it.
yes, Shadow Fury makes them not a melee unit, but yeah, that's a little scary.
It is frightening.
It is frightening for you or your ally. If a propagator problem is happening, you can just spontaneously warp home instantly with Dark Pylons. Dark Pylon recall is wonderful and amazing. It saves from all 3 of these mutators.
True.
You can call if you need to get probes to a crystal fast. If it's like an emergency, you can even just summon a Dark Pylon there to just summon probes because it's the only recall that works on workers.
I wouldn't do that because
It's on the low ground.
I want to use all my spirit energy on more Dark Templar or on more Shadow
on
Guard.
more
So I
free
can-
Dark Templar.
yeah, because even at max mastery, you can call down like 4 Dark Pylons before your energy generation will get interrupted enough that you won't be able to summon a Shadow Guard on cooldown. But yeah.
This is interestingly a situation where I would vastly prefer black holes and dark pylons over more shadow
True.
guard during my time stop.
True.
I would prioritize. I would honestly just almost entire. I would still use P3 because P3 is just still like just a strict upgrade.
By the way,
over P0, but I would barely use the feature of P3 because I would almost entirely be using black holes and dark pylons. I think.
yeah. By the way, for Swann, without prestige, would he still be S?
Yeah,
Yeah.
lower S.
Lower S.
Lower S. Yes. Instead of like SS plus, he'd just be S.
All right, if you say so.
Swann
Okay.
is so good. He's just ahead of everyone else by so much.
Vorazun. Yeah, where do we put Vorazun?
How much faith do I put in people to actually really take advantage of the fact that the Dark Pylon is just the most amazing tool ever here?
Here's how much faith you put in people. I had a Karax ally earlier this morning who made just static defense in the central exit and his own expansion and was AFK the rest of the game. That's how much faith I have in people.
We'd probably put her in like C tier because people are going to probably just move Dark Templar to Propagator and assume everything will be fine, and then some of them are going to have Shadow Fury off cooldown. There's going to be too many Propagators, and it's going to be death and a slaughter, and it's going to be horrible.
All right, how about you, Tutu?
No. Also, actually, I will give another point for Vorazun. Disruptive Web and Black Hole both prevent Propagators from propagating.
Stasis
And
wards.
Oracle Stasis Ward prevents Propagators from propagating. And if
Alright.
you go P2, even Centurions can counter Propagators somehow. That's more bad ideas for people.
How about you, Tutu?
Contrary to what Stixbender said, I don't think you should use Dark Templar. Like, if you're really good, you can use Dark Templar, but it's so much micro. I use if you want to hold against props like indefinitely, you use photon cannons plus stasis wards. And
How about offense?
on offense, you use Corsairs plus Oracles. I made zero. I don't know if my sound's okay, but I made zero Dark Templar in my run. It's just all Oracles and Corsairs, and they sit in the Dark Pylon field to regain energy, and then send them out. Time stop with Shadow Guards, kill stuff,
That's a meme.
and then
That's a great meme. Cool. So where do you put him?
C. It's a lot of work for just mediocre results.
I like how you both went like opposite directions and you both met at C. Oh man.
Yeah, I can see Tutu's direction. Skyazun is good.
Yeah. Cool. Two ways to get to C, guys. Zagara, where do I put her?
It's ironic actually, because if I was just told I'm going to be carrying someone in this mutation, Vorazun would probably be one of my first picks, just because of literally the power of Vorazun here is that if I mess up, I have a backup plan. If my ally messes up, I also have a backup plan. Not a lot of commanders can say, even if my ally is stupid, I can still stop them from being stupid.
Speaking of
Karax
allies,
does.
speaking of allies who can stop your ally from being stupid, where would you put Zagara?
Zagara. So P3 functions kind of like so you're just using banelings to defend, and later on you add bio launchers to just
More
extra
cost
damage.
efficient.
Zagara's by herself on the field, and you can deep tunnel anywhere. You can use Overlord drop. However, sometimes Zagara herself is not enough, so you need to, if they're close to your middle ramp, you need to send some Banes or something to assist. If there's air comp, you would have to spend money making Scourge. And also, you should rebuild your Baneling nest in the center. So you destroy it, but you destroy it, then you
Yeah.
build it again in the center.
I'm aware of that strat. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave her a C just because, later on, it can get really hectic towards the late game.
A C?
C,
So, Sticks better. Where do you put her?
maybe B, C-ish, but yeah.
Six better.
B.
Yeah. You say what?
I was thinking B.
B? You guys, my goodness. The solo mentality is real. My goodness.
I don't see where Zagara is going to be not sufficient. Like Tutu is saying about Zagara not always being sufficient, but unless you're trying to fight the attack waves with large attack waves with her, in which case, yeah, that makes sense. But for crystal defenders and for bases, I feel like Zagara should just be able to pick those apart pretty easily at P3. Yeah, B tier feels good to me for Zagara, and I'm guessing you're saying that that's surprising because you'd think she'd be so good because she has banelings. It's oh my goodness, the banelings. It's like, okay, so let me ask you, how are you contributing to the rest of the game aside from just I send banelings at the propagators?
Not just a propagator, he will have enough to actually, attack the bases.
And then your banelings got nuked. But yes.
They can roll fast enough out of the banelings. They can suicide before they get hit by nukes. Yeah, I don't think she's any lower than A, just because she's so easy to use, and again prevents your ally from being stupid. Even if your ally generates a poop train, Zagara's probably one of the easiest ones you can use to fight a poop train, because you have so many banelings.
I can go with B. B.
B?
I can see.
Yeah.
Dump her in B. Let's dump her in B. I'm sorry.
All right, Zeratul, where do we put her?
Zeratul is now a her. Breaking
Yes.
news. Cannon's good.
Cannon's good. Alright, where do you put him?
By the way, to clarify the cannon's good, monoliths, slow propagators. This makes a dramatic difference, since normal 1v1 photon cannons will not actually defeat propagators. The propagator, like even against like a great, like seemingly infinite wall of regular photon cannons, the propagator is close enough to eat one before it dies. It's just awful. Anyways, Zeratul's photon cannons have more DPS density because they have like twice the damage, because they get upgrades and have more base damage in the first place, and as monolith slow propagators. So suddenly, cannon's good just works. Propagators also ignore the Legion cooldowns, which means you can just... No, wait. That's not propagator.
They
Not
don't
propagators
ignore
do that.
regions.
Sorry. Killbots do. I am a liar. Never mind. Which means you can't do something with Legions. Legions are terrible against propagators. I remember
Wouldn't the
now.
propagators eat the cannon projections while they're projecting?
You can cancel them.
You can
That's
cancel
true.
them.
That's true. All right. So
Anyways,
where do you put Zeratul?
A with the potential of S.
How about you, Tutu?
So you put a void array in your main, and then you have the other end at your natural for quicker transport. You can also do you can have the extra void arrays to bring them to...
Tutu, you're a robot again.
Oh gosh.
I wanna go sleep.
Sleep. Oh man.
Tutu's internet, why you do this?
We really need to figure out how to get this under an hour.
Yeah.
This whole recording thing.
Wow.
To be fair, our actual recording time, I feel like it's actually not that close to an hour yet, is it?
It's 1 hour 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
It felt like we took a lot longer to start. But okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, is it all right now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I see it. Okay, so Zeratul, you put a void array connecting the main to natural, but you don't actually expand. So you can just one base this. If you expand, that's also fine. You can also use void arrays to bring probes directly to the crystals after Zeratul spins and clears everything as P3. Monoliths will stop propagators pretty much indefinitely, and you can project cannons for assistance, cancel them if they're in trouble. So S tier.
Alright, do you agree, Stixbender? Zeratul and S? Alright, so at least we have... This is respectable. At least we have 2 guys in S tier instead of 1. Alright, so, okay. I was thinking A, but since both of you guys say S, alright, well, I'm good with having more S tiers. So, ranking. Who is better? Swann or Zeratul?
Swann's SS.
Swann needs another tier above the S tier.
Okay, so Swann is number 1, Zeratul's number 2. Among the A tiers, who's the best?
Karax.
Yeah, I say Karax as well.
Karax can help. Also, the Unity barrier is really good.
Unity barrier is good against even if your ally is collecting crystals. Unity barrier is good. Even the passive chrono is nice. If you
Karax honestly can be an honorary S. He's not quite S because Zeratul is there and Swann is there. So no, but like those 3 commanders are the commanders to look at as good here.
All right, we'll put Karax at the top of A. Who's the next guy? I think Nova actually.
Nova.
Yeah, I think Nova. Because you with Liberators and Siege Tanks and Spider Mines, you just won't die. And you can just clear with Nova.
I was thinking Monks, but okay.
Yeah, and the thing with Arcturus, I don't disagree with Arcturus being able to hold. It's just that it's so much more work compared to Nova.
I also kind of felt like
lots of
Abathur
clicking.
would be higher than Nova.
Eh?
I also kind of felt like Abathur would be higher than Nova.
Abathur would be higher than Nova?
Higher than Nova even.
Higher
No,
than
that's
Nova.
a
Chance. There's a chance of like props getting a little too close. Nova, there's like no chance. The firepower is too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the third best? Arcturus? I'm almost thinking Dehaka. I'm also leaning toward Dehaka because you also never die as Dehaka. Once you have your Impalers and Creeper host set up.
Yeah, That makes sense.
And pack eaters also are immune to coops. Like, even if they touch, like, okay, what are you doing? Like, get off. But yeah.
A-tier commanders are literally just so dramatically different here in how they play that it's really
It's almost difficult to, rank them against each other.
Yeah.
really confusing.
So who's the clear worst among the A's?
Abathur.
Yeah, I was also thinking Abathur.
He might run out.
Oh, yeah, Alarak. I think Alarak.
You think Alarak? Okay.
Alarak's clearing is bad, actually. Defense is good.
Okay, let's put Alarak at the bottom of
Yeah.
A. And then between Abathur, Arcturus, and Dehaka, I think Arcturus is. I think.
Top of that, Mansk is just really good.
You think Arcturus
Drop
here?
bunkers next to the crystal.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then Dehaka, then Abathur.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So here's our A tier. A lot
yeah,
of guys.
For Manx, you can also hide in the bunker if a nuke comes, so that it kills the bunker.
Instead of the guys. Smart.
Yeah.
All right. So for B, who's the best among the Bs?
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan? Really?
Kerrigan.
I thought Artanis was with the Guardian shell would be better, but
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan is good.
Worm.
Worm. That's probably more useful than.
Also, lurkers are burrowed, so if you F2, your defense doesn't get messed up, which is a bonus point.
True. Kerrigan can solo clear this, right? With on offense at least, Kerrigan can solo the offense.
Yes. No issues there.
Yeah.
P2 will make it easier than P3, which is kind of why I recommended P2. Is like, yeah, you have to shoot your own buildings in order to kill propagators. Sort of. Technically, you could still kill propagators by shooting the propagator, but it's going to be a little tricky because the range difference isn't that big.
Yeah.
But it's still doable. So like Kerrigan can hold early on of P2, and your ally can just show up and say, "Hello, I'm a character who's actually able to deal with the early propagators," which most people have trouble with the late propagators, and Kerrigan is ironically the reverse, where she has trouble with the early propagators.
True.
So yeah, P2 should be fine anyways, I feel like. And that'll make clearing the bases like 10 times easier once you actually get rolling.
Okay. So Artanis is next with Garden Shell? And Dragoons and Tempest, or Tychus?
Yeah, exactly. That's who I was thinking as the contender for Artanis is Tychus.
Yeah. Tychus is also like really solid.
Tychus is...
Just don't F2.
I guess just medevacs. Nukes coming, medevac.
Oh yeah!
Probably
Yeah, medevacs.
Everything
Yeah.
medevac.
So, Tychus number 2?
Probably.
Alright.
Oh,
Then
also,
Artanis...
technically speaking, unless I'm mistaken, technically Tychus has a way to, for some of the crystals, get a worker close to the crystal by mind controlling one with Vega.
I don't know if they can pick up crystals.
I think they can.
Because you can't build anything with them.
This is a good thing to test. I'm pretty sure they actually can, because they can mine. You can mine with mind-controlled workers. I've done it because it's hilarious. I've done it for the memes.
I should make a video of that, if I remember. Alright, so between Hot and Horn and Zagara, who's better?
Zagara.
Yeah, she's definitely easier. Plus Zagara's an A tier. Anyway, between the C guys... I think Raynor's the easiest. Stukov? I think Stukov is the worst because, as we mentioned, Stukov plays like Raynor, but has worse top bars.
His bunkers, well, not bunkers. His tanks.
I would personally, I look at C tier and I'm like, oh, it's just backwards.
It's backwards?
Just switch it around. Yeah.
Of course, Vorazun. Yeah. So is Vorazun the best among the Cs?
Absolutely. Like Oracle, good.
Yeah, it's tricky looking at
top of the swords. Yeah, it's good.
It's tricky looking at the Cs because like these guys are hard to play. You can win with them. It's you need to be good. Like,
let me put it this way: spamming enough stasis wards to be extremely helpful takes so much less effort than existing as Jimmy or Stukov.
Okay, so you guys both agree that Vorazun is the best among the seas?
Yeah.
You too?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Stukov and Raynor, you guys think Stukov is better?
I think Stukov's better.
I think Stukov's better.
Alright, there it is. So
But I used P1 Raynor, so
Oh,
you don't
that
have to
would
mule.
definitely make it harder. That would definitely
That
make
would
it
make it
No,
harder.
that was fine. It was fine because when they get scratched by orbital strikes, they don't die.
Makes sense. Okay, so alright. Would you guys think that we should break up the A tier and move everyone in B down a tier?
No.
So the A guys are so far
not?
above the Bs that there's no way that, or the A guys are so close to each other that Alarak is closer to Karax than he is to Kerrigan. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I always base this on like B is like pretty good and then C is like struggles a little but usable, kind of like that. So if you just move them
Alright.
down a tier or whatever, then that loses its meaning.
Alright. So, I guess we're gonna settle with this tier list. So S, we have Swann, Zeratul. A, we have 6 guys in A. My goodness, it's A heavy. Which is
there's just a lot of solid options here. Honestly, it's actually not actually that hard of a mutation. It looks scary, but
because
it's
of
not
Propagators.
actually
The thing
that
about
hard.
Propagators is I've been on record saying this before, but I like Propagators better than stuff like the stuff that someone considered easier, like mineral shields, slim pickings, fatal attraction. Those mutators annoy me to no end, but I'd rather have Propagators than all of those because with Propagators, if you lose, at least it's over fast. Like, sure, let's go again. I made a mistake. You can clearly see where the mistake is, and sometimes it's even funny. But with Fatal Attraction, it's just annoyance. You win, but you're so annoyed at the whole game. So yeah, I think this one's I don't know, I kind of like playing this one. It was hectic.
Meanwhile, I hate Propagators. It's just like, and then it ended. Everything was fine, and then it literally instantly went from winning to instantly ended because the Propagator spawned in the wrong
So
spot.
you're saying you'd rather have Fatal Attraction than Propagators?
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Fatal
have
Attraction is
Propagators.
definitely harder than Propagators. Yes. But...
You'd say Fatal Attraction is harder than Propagators? No way.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Fatal Attraction is harder than Propagators.
You can't lose to Fatal Attraction alone, but you can absolutely lose to Propagators
Yes, you
alone.
can. You kind of can, actually. Fatal Attraction, the crowd control of Fatal Attraction with the wrong enemy comp.
Yeah, I guess
Boy.
it makes sense. Yeah, if you get like Bailing Scourge or something. Anyway, alright guys, this is the tier list. I'm gonna go to sleep. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Watch Tutu and Sticksbetter's channels. I will link them down below. If you have an idea for what else you do, please leave that in a comment. I will see you guys next time.